welcome back. If you've already seen several of my videos or playlists down below you can look at, and if you're new, welcome in. I'm Natasha. I am a astrological birth chart counselor is what I like to call it. I like to combine the creative tool of using the base of a astrological birth chart and taking a counseling approach to reading that, as it's a little bit more indirect and less like poking the bear directly, as we all are comprised of all 12 zodiac signs. And this is like a creative way as to being a little bit more self-aware and learning how to be a little bit more flexible. As we are today, we are talking about Leo, the fixed fire sign. So with any fixed sign, they tend to not budge as easily, or it takes a little bit more for them to kind of let go of the grasp, almost like a pit bull, and they're locking in, and it's like, please release. It is okay. Please release whatever you're holding on to. It is safe. You can kind of loosen your grip a little bit. So Leo represents the 5th house in astrology. It is the fun house. It is the house of play, the house of creativity, creation, entertainment, parties, casual drinking, casual dating, casual bedtime fun. It is all the light-hearted things that, just make people get along. It's team building in a kind of work environment. It's the icebreakers. It's getting to know each other a little bit in a playful way, because it's a little bit too intrusive to get to know someone in a Scorpio way, which is extremely vulnerable and intimate, and like someone knows everything that is wrong with you that you want to hide. Leo is the surface, so it's like the makeup, if you wear makeup or not. It's like, I don't want you to see the blemishes on me. I want you to see the clear skin. I want you to see me with this light that you don't see on camera, but it's there, to make me look younger and better, because light is going to take away a lot of my flaws. So that's what it is. It's the stage, actors, singers, musicians, comedian, anyone who's kind of like on TV or aspires to be seen and have people's eyes turn on them. It is like that. News anchors, people who are in leadership roles are like Leo archetypes. People who have a really big heart, have a lot of courage, like to just walk into the room and their just essence and presence is just known, just like a lion. Like you respect the lion when they walk into a room. That is a very powerful, majestic, creature that's very powerful, but they don't always use their power at all times. They only use it when they're hungry or passionate about something. So it's the lion. On the body part, it rules the heart. So the muscle and willpower of the heart, which we can do great things when we have big love for whatever it is that we're trying to work for or protect, or lead. We lead with a big heart, or Leos do, or wherever that is in your chart. And it also rules the spinal cord and the upper back. So it's just kind of like a structure. So your heart, like if you don't have great passion for something, it's really hard to keep persevering for that. Like sometimes you just don't know why you want or aspire to be, or will kind of keep working for something that you truly believe in and have a lot of passion and heart for, while you spend so many years like not making a cent on it. Like a lot of musicians and actors, they go through so much auditions and work and creating, because creation, creating, reevaluating, making, adjusting, or whatever, and you don't see all of that behind the scenes until it's presented on stage, and then all of a sudden, you know, they are the best, or they're shining, you know. So that's in the positive sense that, you know, they're taking like a Capricorn energy of building and creating from the bottom line. And if their talent and hard work come together, then it will naturally shine. So that's a Leo energy, is that all of that work in leadership or producing or creating something that is so good and like a wow factor, that is like stage worthy or radio music worthy, or like published worthy, you know, like on a book, anything that is, you know, neat, is supposed to shine out in the world. Like you tend to not see all the work, you know, that goes behind it. If it's actually good work, then all of that work will be rewarded and it will shine naturally. The negative part of how this Leo energy can present itself is those who take the directive of trying to fake it till they make it, or look away, look in a certain way first, like presenting the cover of something and not actually being and embodying that from the inside or at their heart and soul. It doesn't match. So when that happens, then the results are not going to be sustainable. You know, it's going to be short-lived, or, you know, the light will be dimmed once the truth comes out. So that is not a intelligent approach. You know, like it is important to have good presentation. That is a part of it. But in order to have that stage presence, that respect, or, you know, being seen, it comes from this kind of safe, healthy ego, you know. So Leo and Aquarius, there's a thing with pride and ego with these two signs, especially with Leo. So when you are out of balance or unhealed, your ego, which everybody has, you have an id, ego, and super ego. Everyone needs the ego in order to feel safe and to protect your authentic self, because the world is, everyone's out to get their own thing too, you know. And so depending on our own personal interactions and things, our ego or those layers can feel like a callus, you know, that gets thicker and thicker. Or with other signs, like there's a wall, you know, like you can't penetrate this wall. Like they've started stacking layers and layers of like a brick wall or a wood wall, whatever. So this way you don't come and intrude on their sense of well-being, sense of worth, who they are, you know. So with ego, Leo, for them, when it's in an unhealthy way, there's this kind of ego layer to it. So you have to just kind of be mindful if you're acting a little bit too much in your pride and ego in order to get your way, or there's jealousy. Because if you think of celebrities and actors and stuff, they're creating their work, but there is this kind of tug of war like quality to them, that they don't want someone else to outshine them, because if someone outshines them, there's this fear that they're not good enough, or fear that they will fade into the past, you know, like celebrities that they just kind of fade out and nobody, you know, remembers them, or like they just get remembered once in a while. And what are they going to do now? Their whole livelihood and stardom, and like people want them for their movies and roles, or music festivals, like it doesn't come to them as much. So there's this kind of security, safety net in wanting to shine and feel seen, feel good enough that their soul and their heart is, you know, being presented and acknowledged, that they are worthy, they are good enough, and they're a good leader. So that is, you know, signs, if it is out of balance or unhealed, that it can start, there's going to be a wall, or, you know, too much pride on their side, and not seeing or letting go of an idea or viewpoint, whatever that may be, where they may be shutting down or not seeing other people's perspectives, or letting other people shine too. You know, like other people deserve to be seen and have their own talents and creations be shared. It's not just one sun, like the big star that all the other planets revolve around, you know. If that energy is too big and bold, you know, it can be seen as a negative thing. Leo, in a healthy sense, is like a really, really big, loving heart. So big that they're willing to give all of it away at times, either to an idea, a passion, to advocate for something, or a person. They're willing to give everything that they have away for this thing, you know, this passion or person or whatever it is, because that's how big their heart is. But if it's not exchanged, or if they're not aware of how much they are just giving away, especially if they're expecting something in return, then they may start, you know, like their light is going to be dimmed, or their sense of happiness is going to be kind of slowly eaten away. And a Leo at its core wants to just be happy, just wants to be happy, have everything be lighthearted, not burdened by real life or the mundane seriousness of reality, and wants to just go off and play. Be able to have that freedom to just enjoy, like be able to have the financial freedom, or whatever that freedom is, because all fire signs want freedom, you know, and to be able to feel like you have that sense of security, so you are free to now create or work on your passion projects, or just have lighthearted play and just fool around, because you don't need to work so hard at survival, basically, you know. Some Leos that I know, male and female, or Leo risings, even Leo moon, because these are going to be the prominent energies that you may notice more. Leos tend to like to be a little spoiled, or have almost like personal assistants doing things for them. So that's why it's a leader, so leadership role. They're good at just having people do things for them. So this way, you know, any kind of dirty work, or dirty work sounds kind of wrong, but it's just like, you know, if someone does a poor job, it's not directly related to them to make them look bad. It's the other person, you know, doing that. Like in a family system, I've seen where there's like a Leo. So in a way, they are looked at and loved so much because they are more of this safe, secure parent. And the other parent tends to have to do all the real nitty gritty work, which is actually formulating the true character and responsibility of that child later on in life. But usually that parent who actually does the grunt of that, you know, directing, usually is looked as like the negative parent, the parent that the child doesn't really want to just gravitate to as the positive one. So Leo tends to be this kind of, I want to always look like I'm in the good light. Like I don't want to be seen in the negative light. That can be someone else, but I'm not going to be seen that way. It's this presentation that I am so good, or I want people to love me. So I don't want people to see me in this negative archetype. Other people can do the dirty work that is very valuable, but they can do it so I don't look bad. You know, it sounds kind of bad and egotistical because we are talking about a sign that represents the ego. It's your soul at your core, and everyone has Leo somewhere in their chart. It's just if you have more planets in there, you have more of this energy, you know. So like when I've seen it and observed it with people, that can happen where they either find someone who's willing to do all the acts of service thing, like the Virgo type qualities that do daily dirty work that's mundane. You need to just do it, whether it's, you know, good or bad, or you want to do it or not. You just have to do the daily work of it. And you have someone who's act of showing love, or they're just so responsible that they do those things. They will cling to someone who's like that, which sometimes can end up being someone who's kind of controlling, because now they're doing all of the grunt work and are so fixated on doing everything right and their way that, you know, you just let them do it, you know, because they want to take charge of it anyway. So they end up doing all that, and this way the Leo gets to just shine and just be the leader, that is just always happy, always pleasant, and is the good one, you know. So I've seen it play out like that. I've also seen it where the Leo archetype, you know, self-sacrifices so much, but it's a fixed sign. So once they attach, they are very loyal typically. And what if you picked a partner that the face value representation, you know, like you did like it, but you didn't really think it through of the daily things or all these small things that, you know, after the honeymoon stage, it's not cute anymore. And now you're loyal and you have a big heart and you empathize with, you know, this other person that you fell in love with, because fifth house and Leo represents the dating phase or the interview stage. You know, like, are you auditioning? You're auditioning for a role or you're interviewing for a job, but that doesn't mean that you truly know that what that person is presenting you or telling you actually matches with their behavior and their daily grind. Or what if you just didn't ask the right questions? You know, you just did all the fun stuff. One thing just kept leading to another and you just kind of got along and clicked. But once you get past 2, once we get to the signs after Leo is Virgo, then Libra is actual one-on-one partnerships and contracts. And then after that is Scorpio, which is joint resources and the finances and assets that you combine, your inheritances. You end up marrying your family in some weird kind of way, so you have to deal with them. And it's not this little bubble of happy playland anymore, of this Leo fifth house energy where you just get to do the fun, lighthearted things and not get too deep with real life stuff. So Leo sometimes has such a big heart, and they're so committed and loyal that they are willing to let someone else just take from them over and over and over again, you know, and then that can also dim their inner light and make them feel drained and exhausted. But they feel so much pride and ego that they don't want to admit that they possibly made, you know, a horrible decision, or even thinking that they did that is such a terrible thing that they don't have the heart to say that to the other person, you know, or even admit to themselves that, you know, like, this is not what I want. You know, they don't want to break a heart, because it would break their own heart too. So they may stay in things that are unhealthy, or maybe they are the ones who are unhealthy and toxic, but their pride and ego is so strong from like a deep wound within inside them that they don't see that they are hurting the other person, because they're so wounded and hurt themselves and been taken advantage of, and are too afraid to get deep and talk about the real nitty-gritty stuff to fix a relationship or situation. You know, the fear of rejection and not being good enough, not being worthy enough, not being the star, not being seen as a good leader, and being like just discredited for everything that you stand for. That is just too much to bear for a Leo archetype. So that is something just to be aware of if you are a Leo, or if you know someone who has Leo sun, moon, or rising, or has strong Leo in their chart, or a lot of planets in the fifth house that can also play a part of this, you know, is that you have to have that inner sense of self-worth and self-esteem that you are good enough and you do deserve to shine, and you are shining. Like, true leadership and being seen is actually very quiet and unseen. They're not trying with intention to get noticed or getting praise, verbal affirmation. They're not actually trying to gain those things. It's just they're actually staying in their lane and building and creating their craft that they love so passionately about, that over time, even if it takes, you know, 1 year, 5, 10, 20, maybe like even after they're dead, you know, that work, love and devotion actually shines, and now that name is, you know, in the spotlight, you know. So, you know, I think of people who have Chiron in Leo, like there's, when it's unhealthy, they have this need to like over express, you know, showcase their talents and abilities, because there's something within them that they feel like they're just not getting the credit or accolades that they feel that they deserve, even though they are getting it, but it's not as big and bold or in the way that they want or expect, you know. So there's a mismatch, you know, so that can be like a self-defeating behavior of what that is. Otherwise, Leo just wants to be happy, you know, And we need a lot of Leos in our life. And then it's just like, I always think of the fun little creative things that like I can't even come up with. Like I have to, like I suck at Leo energy. I'm a Capricorn sun, and I'm so serious and realistic that, and almost like I have to focus on all this real hardcore life stuff first. That is my priority in order to survive. That all this fun, lighthearted stuff, like if I'm not in a secure place, like I can't even think of fun little games, you know, to just relax, you know, like that is non-existent. So Leos are really good at, like, if you think of old folks' homes, and they come up, if you see like on social media, little cute little games, like all kinds of weird games that are really fun, silly, they make you laugh. It's like team building in the family, team building in old folks' home, hospitals, you know, like people who are sick, and there's nothing that you can really do for their illness or their pain. So the least that you can do is something that's creative and lighthearted that that person in particular can actually participate in and also shine, have their moment of stardom. Those are the beautiful little things of Leo and Leo archetypes, is that they're really good at creating these little fun, lighthearted things to make things lighter. The seriousness of the world and turning it into comedy. Like we see that quite a lot in today's world, when things are so sad, messed up, and like so ridiculous that you don't even know what to do but to make a joke out of the whole thing. It's like comedy, or you know, like if you can't clearly get your point across or your message and voice across in a way where people, you know, like you want to be heard and seen too. People use comedy and entertainment in order to get their message and voice heard and seen through comedy or play or lightness, or trying to make light of the situation, because when it's too serious, people are trying to protect their own directive or protect their voice too. And so when people are too much on their side or advocating too much on one thing, there's always going to be someone on the other end being unheard. So you have to find a healthy balance between any two or a mixture of viewpoints and perspectives. And so that is the beauty of Leo. It is also creation, actual children, because that is where, you know, the start, like the spark of romance happens, you know. So it's like hopeless romantics. You just want to do all the fun romantic things is Leo. Just go on dates all the time, go on nice dinners, picnics, fun outings, events, things that are entertaining or entertaining you. It can also present itself like people who just communicate all the time. So people who are the opposite and are just very quiet and shy, you know, or they have this Leo energy in them, but they happen to be quiet and shy, but they're a leader, you know, or serious and leader-like, and so they just naturally exude, you know, a big heart and leadership. But that doesn't always mean that they are showy or dramatic, because it's Leo also represents drama, so it doesn't always look dramatic. The Leo archetype doesn't always look like they're trying to gain that spotlight, you know. There's a different version of this Leo archetype where their presence is so strong, you know, and they just enjoy being entertained because their life is leadership. When you are the leader, you have no one above you to ask or go to, you know, like your life is like major life decisions, or you're leading the pack. You're directing and observing the forecast of the future in order to guide the people below you to also succeed, you know. But sometimes Leo always wants to be a little bit higher. They don't want the people beneath them to surpass them because they're the leader. So if someone just surpasses them or threatens them a little bit, they kind of don't like that. It's like it's unsafe, as if there's not enough to share. There's a fear that they need to take all of it, you know, or if no one, you know, works for them or, you know, does all the nitty gritty or gives them accolades just naturally, just like it should just come to me because, you know, that's what I'm used to or what I just deserve. People should just do that for me. Like, I don't understand anything else, you know? So if a Leo archetype is thinking a little bit too much like that, and you meet someone who is also at a leadership-like quality, that person who's at an equal level is not going to, you know, back down to you because they are also a leader. If you're not willing to do that for the other leader, why would they do that for you? You know, now it becomes a reflection, and is that person finding that threatening or not? Or are they saying like, hey, 2, 3, 10, however many leaders are better than just one, you know? So, you know, you have to just be careful of that kind of ego battle, because if all the leaders just have an ego battle all the time, everyone beneath them starts suffering. You know, they just are trying to one up each other up here in the company corporate ladder, and all the people down here, they don't even have access to that information or have that kind of power. And now they're the ones stuck with your stupid decisions, you know, and all of you are trying to one up, make more, like have more money, have more power, have more titles, accolades, whatever. Like, oh, look at me, you know, and then everyone beneath them has to like sit in suffering, you know. So those are just kind of different ways of thinking about the sign. But otherwise, Leo is super fun, flirty, romantic, all the entertainment qualities, wanting to be entertained, being entertaining. It's about parties, anything lighthearted. Creativity. It's like those little art classes where you imitate a painting. So it's just like creative in that sense. So I think that concludes my Leo archetype energy zodiac thingy. It is the sun. It is ruled by the sun. There's only one sun. And it is the most popular because we all tend to go by our sun sign, because that is at our heart and soul, or what our soul aspires to become more like, is this archetype. If you don't exude those qualities or feel like it resonates with you, it also depends on where it is in your chart. So that is that. If you'd like to book a birth chart reading and see what I come up with for a creative analysis of your entire chart, you can book that in the website linked below, or go to www.natashascreativewellness.com. You can go to the booking scheduling section, pick the closest, the earliest, whatever, date and time, as it's a pre-recorded reading. You don't actually have to be there. And I'll send you a private link. Give me a really good email, and I'll send you a private link, and you can watch it as many times as you want. I think you should be able to also download it through YouTube. So it's a YouTube link. Otherwise, you can refer to that email. As long as there's no boo-boos. So that is up to you to save or absorb as much information as possible while it exists, or the internet exists. And I also have products. I have journals, yoga mats, other things in there based on past paintings and artwork. If you like to support but are not ready for a birth chart reading, or you like both, that's fine. I get a percentage of that since it's actually produced by a third-party source, but the actual artwork is mine or created by me. So thank you if you made it this far in my video. And yes, please subscribe to help me just get out there. If you find that my perspective and wisdom, anything that I just am able to come up with based on how long I have been living and my own personal experiences, are hidden in these videos, stories and stuff about life and how it can suck sometimes. Sometimes we need to hear stories of other people's suffering to really put in perspective as to what you can also overcome and what it takes to get from point A to point B, or just flowing with life. So yeah, I'll probably put that in a different video, so you'd have to scope it out. But yeah, please like, and see you later. Okay, bye.